Hello world, I'm Goldie, and today I'll be telling y'all how I got and overcame Guillain-Barre syndrome, also known as GBS. But before we get into that, I got a couple shout outs that need to be put out there so the people can know that so the people who helped me know that I appreciate them. This is not in a particular order or in an order of importance. So we got personal shout outs first. Supreme Being, Brian, Camille, Michelle, Molly, Dr. Shaw, Magic, Bria, Jenny and Adrian, LaShonda, Alexis, Veranda, Lakeisha, T. White, Carlos, my mother, Keyshawn, DeVale, Justin, Andrea, Pastor Sean, Charles, Nathan, Ruben, Jesse, Z, and JJ. And then I got YouTube shout outs. The Sexual Celestial, Bobby Hemmett, the University of Cosmic Intelligence, Spiritual Soul, Young Pharaoh, Spirit Science, Ryan Drake Cropper, and Daylight. And also, honorable mentions, the nurses at Le Bonheur, the nursing staff at Health South, the physical therapists and occupational therapists at Health South. This story begins 9th grade year, 2nd semester, physical science. My teacher was really cool, so he didn't mind if we slept once we completed our work. And I pretty much took naps frequently. But there was this one time I woke up and I heard a voice in my head say I'm dying. As a kid, I didn't really know how to take that, so I didn't pay no mind to it, and I didn't tell anybody about it. And I heard this voice a couple times. Like, it wouldn't be every time I took a nap, but from the time that it happened, the first time, it happened several more times after that. Enough for me to know that, or remember the inception of the idea. So we're gonna fast forward to the beginning of summer break around June-ish. Started to feel the tips of my fingers tingle. And I didn't know what was going on. And once again, I didn't tell anybody. And every year I would go to my brother's house, my brother's mom's house. And we would spend the majority of the summer together until school started again. But this year in particular was a little different because instead of going to my mom's house for like a month or 2 months, we ended up staying with my dad for a little while. It was probably about 4 weeks, so it was probably about a month too. And we stayed with him and his girlfriend. And we ended up taking a trip to Knoxville that summer. And we went to a water park. The water park was called Wild Bear Falls. This is a pretty big water park. Like, if you think about all the water parks you've ever been to, this was probably bigger than that one. It's a pretty big water park. Or maybe that's just my child memory. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's pretty big. You can look it up for yourself. This is also where I believe that my immune system took the hardest hit. So as I'm going down the slide, I went down the slide, one of those really big slides, one of the water slides, of course. And when I get towards the bottom, my mouth was open. So I ended up swallowing something. I don't know what it was, but I didn't get the chance to like spit it out before I got up. So, you know, after that moment, I kind of got out of the pool, I got out of the water. I really didn't want to be in the water no more after that. So I was kind of done. So fast forward to July 4th, 2012. This day was like any other. Me and my brother, we were going to Olive Branch Park to hang out with family and friends and watch the fireworks show that night. However, as I'm walking, I noticed that it's really hard for me to keep my shoes on my feet. And I'm wearing Nike slides at this time. And it's extremely difficult. I mean, I'm trying everything. You know, my shoe will slide off, I put my foot back in it and it'll slide off again. And I'm not knowing what's going on. I didn't tell anybody, so not even being aware that I should have told somebody is the scariest part. Because as we get to Olive Branch Park, I try to play football with my friends and family, and I noticed two things. Not only is it hard for me to run and keep up with everybody, but also I'm having a hard time with hand-eye coordination. And my brother taught me how to play football. He taught me how to catch. And you know, when you catch a football, you want to have your hands in a diamond. Well, that was even hard because it got to the point where, you know, I think the ball was going one way and then I miss. So after that little situation, I kind of sat down and was like, all right, maybe I just need to eat something. You know, I'm thinking it's one of those. So after I eat, my cousin offers for us to go walk around the Olive Branch Park track. So as we're walking around the track, she notices that my shoe keeps coming off. And she asked me why, and I tell her I don't know. We kind of left it alone, you know, from that point, because I mean, we was both kids at that point, so it wasn't much that we could really know, you know what I'm saying, or really know what to do. But fast forward to my mom's graduation in late July, and it was at the FedEx Forum. And as we're walking towards the parking garage, like I can see the inside of the garage, I pass out. And a couple strangers had picked me up and they took me to the FedEx Forum medical room and things. And you know, once I got there, they were asking me questions like, do you know who you are? Do you know what day it is? Who's the president? You know, just trying to see if I maintain consciousness. All right, so once they realize or evaluate me and they see that it was probably just heat related, they let me go and they say, you know, try not to do too much, drink you some water and things of that nature. So my stepmom, she bought me some Burger King, pretty much reiterate that, tell me not to move, not to do too much, kind of just chill. So I do that. All right, so fast forward to August 1st. School is right around the corner, and my stepmom notices me walking up against the wall and like trying to maintain my balance. And she asked me what's wrong, and I told her I don't know. And at that point, like an alarm went off in her head, and she was like, oh no, that's not normal. We gotta take you home. So she called my mom, she let her know what's going on. I get home and my mom and my stepdad asked me the same thing. It was like, you know, what's going on, son? So once again, I told them I didn't know. So I took a nap that day, And I woke up around 7, so it was probably around 8 or 9 when my stepdad's friend, T. White, told him they should probably take me to the hospital. So they was like, okay. So around 8 or 9, we went to Methodist East. And when we got there, the doctor started asking questions, trying to see what's going on. My answer again is I don't know. So they offered to do a spinal tap. And if you are a woman, you've ever given birth and had an epidural, you'll know that that is probably the most unpleasant pain on earth. So spinal tap is basically when they insert a needle into the lower part of your vertebrae and extract fluid for testing. So, the doctor tell me the standard procedure, don't move or you're gonna be paralyzed and stuff like that. So I'm kind of in a fetal position. Okay, so as I'm getting the spinal tap, I squeeze my mom's hand. It's tight as I possibly could because the pain was damn near unbearable. I wouldn't wish that pain on my worst enemy. So after the spinal tap, they put a Band-Aid on my back and tell me it's gonna take about 3 days before they get results. But they tell me they can't send me home because a spinal tap is serious. So if you get a spinal tap, they're gonna want to keep you in the hospital to see what's going on with you. But me being a minor at the time, they told me that they couldn't keep me at Methodist, so they transferred me to Barre, which is an establishment for children here in Memphis. And it's a great establishment. They got great staff, they got great nurses, they got great doctors, everything. It's really a lovely establishment. So I spend the night there, and I'm awakened by a panel of about 8 doctors. Some are neurologists, some are doctors in training, and they run me through some tests. Peripheral nerve tests, they run me through reflex tests, they test my eyesight, they test my lungs, and after that, they're like, all right, we'll come back tomorrow. And we'll give you a verdict on basically what's going on. So I was like, okay. So that was August 2nd. They come back August 3rd, and they tell me that it was Guillain-Barre syndrome. Me not knowing what that was, I was asking them, I'm like, okay, so what is that? So Guillain-Barre syndrome basically is a neurological disorder in which your brain confuses your muscle as foreign entity and sends your white blood cells to attack anything muscle. Luckily, we caught it before it got too destructive, so we were able to counteract the effects, and it was really mostly just physical. But with Guillain-Barre syndrome, the reason why my shoes kept falling off and things of that nature is because it starts at your feet and it works its way up to your head. So after they tell me what's going on, they start a treatment of immunoglobulins through an IV. And they tell me that this is necessary in order to stop the attack that my body is sending on itself in order to kind of balance it out. But the only thing that kind of disturbed me about this whole situation is that when I came into the hospital, I was walking. Not that good, but I was still walking on my own 2 feet. But when I left in a wheelchair, and I was using a walker and a wheelchair when I left. So the treatment itself, it lasted for about 7 days, and after the 7 days, they sent me home. They sent me home with a bunch of medicine. They sent me home with gabapentin, prednisone, and an experimental drug called Cellcept. And we were at home for about a week before my knees buckled. I fell and my mom was trying to pick me up. We were on our way to church, and she tried to pick me up, and she just couldn't. You know, she was having a really hard time, and my little sister at the time was, I think she was like 12, and she was in 6th grade, so she was really young, and she had to help me as well. And for 2 women, that's pretty difficult. You know, me being, I was probably like 130, you know what I'm saying, 140 at the time, and not nearly as tall as I am now. So, but after that, that was a Sunday. So fast forward, we had a doctor's appointment, like a checkup, on Tuesday. So when we went back to the doctor, my mom basically told the doctor what happened, and I got readmitted to the hospital that day. So after I get readmitted, they do another IV treatment, and that lasted for about a week. So this is close to towards the end of August, beginning of September. So after that, instead of sending me home this time, they actually sent me to Health South, which is a rehab facility. This was also a great place. They had great staff and things of that nature. But it smelled like old people. If y'all ever been to a nursing home, y'all know what I'm talking about. So yeah, they sent me there, and I was working to regain my strength back, doing occupational therapy and physical therapy. And my memories of that place are pretty bittersweet. I had my 16th birthday there. You know, it was a big turnout. A lot of people showed up. We had a good time. And the one bright spot of that situation was that my grandma, she stayed there almost every day with me. Like, she was there almost every day. My mom, my aunt, and a couple other people, Miss Shay, they stayed, like, it was a couple days where they would stay just to keep me company, you know what I'm saying, just to make sure I wasn't falling into despair or nothing. And mind you, during this whole period, I'm not really like sad. Like, I'm not upset. I'm not angry. Like, I really don't feel anything. I just don't know what's going on with my body. So, with that, the doctor, she recommended that we get she recommended that we do homeschooling. It's a homeschooling program where the teacher comes to your house and teaches you all your courses. So we do that, and she's coming up to Health South and things of that nature. And after I spent about a month and a half in Health South and got sent home, so I complete my 10th grade year at the house, and I go back to school 11th grade year, and everything is a little bit better, but it's still a little off because I'm walking with a cane at this point. And I was at this school in 9th grade. I missed 10th grade, and I came back 11th grade. So everybody was, you know, asking me questions, what happened, what's going on. You know, I even had somebody ask me if I got shot. And I told them, I was like, man, I wish my answer was that simple to where I could just say yeah. But it wasn't. So, you know, people were insensitive, people made jokes. People were just people, you know. Can't fault them for not knowing what's going on and, you know, thinking things were funny. But I completed 11th grade year, and after 11th grade year, I actually got better to the point where I stopped walking with the cane, but I was still using AFOs. AFOs are ankle foot orthotics. So basically they go in your shoes and up your leg to help you maintain a certain proper gait. And a gait is just a walking style. So after that, I go to 12th grade, and my physicality starts to decline horribly. Like, everything that I gained from that year, like, basically started to fail. And it was mostly because I stopped taking the medicine. Because the prednisone was a steroid, and the gabapentin was for nerve damage. So I stopped taking the steroid because my face was getting fat. And if you look at me now, like, you'll see. But I'm pretty handsome, and I didn't like the fact that my face was being swollen from something that I couldn't control. So I wanted to stop taking it because I was like, ugh, I look ugly. And then I had all these bumps and pimples and stuff, so it was not fun. But Fast forward through 12th grade year, and I graduated. So, when I'm 19, my stepmother, Rhonda, introduces me to a new doctor, Dr. Asaf, and he prescribed me B12 shots. The B12 shots work, and here's where I lost all respect for Dr. Asaf, because I don't know if y'all know, but doctors get paid off prescriptions. He told me that I was going to have to take B12 shots for the rest of my life because of the way my immune system was compromised. And I just looked at him like, no, I'm not. I don't know who you think you're talking to, but I'm not that person. So, after about 2.5 years of being on B12 shots, I actually lost my insurance. So I couldn't even renew my prescription to get more. So I had to watch my body go from being strong again to getting weak again. And this was probably the hardest process because all the strength that I had gained was from man-made B12. The B12 that we have in our body now is produced by our liver. So if you know anything about man-made drugs, you have to keep putting man-made stuff in your body in order for your body to keep replicating it, or else your body is going to basically revert back to the situation that it was in before. So I was on B12 for 2.5 years. So that's from 19, 20 to 21. Age 22 through 24, I actually felt myself like basically starting to die again. Like my nerves and everything was shutting down, and I couldn't control it, and I didn't know what was going on. And when I was 24, that's basically when everything completely was just like null. Like I was pretty numb from everything. Like I woke up one day and my whole forearm was completely numb. I couldn't feel anything, and I was scared. I didn't know what to do because it was like I've been in this position before, but this time I was in a different position because I didn't have an active doctor that I was seeing, so I didn't know how to deal with this. But I started getting into crystals and holistic medicine and herbs and things of that nature, and how to heal yourself through the power of the mind. And I actually read this very, very good book called The Secret. And The Secret is the reason why I was able to heal myself the way I am today. So, I know I did a lot of skipping around, but from 24 to 25, I spent that whole year basically regenerating. 24, I was numb, and by 25, my nerves and things of that nature were starting to come back on. And that the process that I'm at the state I'm at now, I'm better than I was before I was ever on medicine. I'm better than I was. So I'll be teaching all of those who are interested in saying fuck the medical system, how to heal yourself, because we got the power within us. Stay tuned.